Hi, everyone. I'm Lizzie Hockey. I'm the founder of Reachworks, which is the company behind Gist. Gist is a prebiotic botanical sparkling water. And I want to thank you for taking a few minutes today to learn more about our company and our product and our fundraising efforts. So I'll share my screen and walk you through our deck. As I mentioned, Gist is a prebiotic drink. So it's meant as a daily supplement, essentially, and it provides 4 grams of plant fiber per serving. We designed it with soluble fiber in particular because that functionality has more universal benefits, more benefits for more people than almost any other functional beverage in this growing subcategory. So fiber has a great deal of research behind it, years of research that really demonstrate the both short-term and long-term health benefits of consuming enough fiber. And yet 95% of Americans don't get enough. That's leading to poor health outcomes that we all know are a huge problem in our society, and simply increasing fiber intake can significantly reduce the risk of diseases in the long term, but also improve immunity and cognition, mood regulation, sugar regulation in the near term. And so we designed Gist to support that fiber intake and really fill the fiber gap in an everyday context, right? It's easy to grab a beverage. So I thought a lot about the iodine and salt situation. We have iodine and salt because people weren't getting enough iodine, and we put it in an everyday product to get mass distribution of it and mass benefits from it. And I think the same needs to be done for fiber, and Gist is a big step towards filling that fiber gap that will have huge impact for lots of people. So we're really, designing for that everyday experience, and as important as the fiber that's in there is what's not. There is no sugar and no sweetener, no preservative in our product, which is critical because sweeteners and sugars actually detract from digestive benefits that so many products promote. And so in our R&D process, we really focused on brewing whole herbs and getting the innate flavors in those herbs and botanicals out of them so that we didn't have to cover everything up with sweeteners. And so we have 4 flavors on the market at the moment. We've got chamomile with rosemary, ginger with rooibos, hibiscus with lemon balm, and oolong calendula. We're right about 20 to 25 calories per serving, which is right in line with a number of the comparable products in our subcategory. One of the critical factors that isn't as important to the consumer, but is extremely important in our retail and distribution relationships, is that we're shelf stable. And so in this age of supply chain uncertainty, being able to move our product from ingredients all the way to the consumer at ambient temperatures is really beneficial, both from pricing and just logistics and viability. Our team has great experience to get this done, and we're really passionate about this area of human health and product development, consumer products coming together in an elegant way. I have been working with Idea Fund of La Crosse from the beginning. They were instrumental in kind of setting the direction for this project and have been our lead investor since 2019. So we've got a great partnership there, as well as a really strong board, really focused on Wisconsin expertise. We're very interested in leveraging the expertise and the relationships, especially in Southwest Wisconsin. We're based in Viroqua, so we're a women-founded, women-run, rural Midwest company that is really seeking to make an impact at a national and ultimately global scale. As I mentioned, we got started in late 2019, but really spent 2020 in our product development phase. I brewed a lot of herbs in my farm kitchen in Viroqua. But my co-founder, Vivi, who has a decade of experience in the beverage industry, really took everything to the next level in terms of a formulation that could go to our co-manufacturer and come out as a viable consumer product. So 2020 was a lot of experimentation, early work on developing our brand, because of course that is a huge component of why a consumer is going to pick this up and try it in the first place. We rolled out a product in the summer of 2021, really in order to get early validation of the product. You know, we'd really validated the category. Beverage is growing, non-alcoholic beverage is doing great, as I'll discuss in just a minute. But we wanted to see what people thought of Gist, basically, which was harder to do during the pandemic than it might have been. We weren't doing panels or, you know, taste testing in early mid 2020. So 2021 was our chance to really start talking to consumers with product in hand. Got validation there, had really positive response on our early sales, initiated some marketing campaigns, and then closed an oversubscribed bridge round last fall to kind of sustain us into our early retail sales. We also had some huge wins when it came to what tastemakers and thought leaders were saying and thinking about Gist. We were in today.com, an article by a nutritionist about 7 health trends for 2022, listing fiber and fiber in beverage as a trend, putting Gist right in line with 2 brands that are not only doing extremely well, but also have raised, one just closed a $30 million round, the other closed a $13 million round a couple months ago. So suffice it to say, we're in great company. And as a company that's raised less than $1 million to date, feeling extremely good about the company we're keeping and how we're competing in this really new subcategory. What's clear from the data, from the market data, is that this category is driving the growth. And by this category, I mean the functional beverage, particularly gut health and low to no sugar beverages are driving the growth in this subcategory of non-alcoholic. And the ones that are winning, we're right in line with. It's also clear, as we'll see, that while beverage is growing, the potential is huge. So we believe that in 10 years, the average consumer will be drinking a no sugar functional beverage every day instead of a pop or a sparkling water. So pop on one extreme has loads of sugar and no health benefits. Sparkling water on the other extreme has essentially not much in it, right? Very little benefit except perhaps hydration and maybe some flavor satisfaction. And we're really seeing this as a subcategory that has a foothold in the market, but there aren't any clear winners yet. There are brands that have been around for a few years that are starting to get shelf space, but we're in this great mix right now where we're second or third into the game. There's already a category being built, and we're coming in with a distinctive product on flavor, and our functionality is set at a level that that we really feel is right for kind of the mainstream consumer. It's a level of fiber that is a little bit less than some of our competitors, which I'm really comfortable with, because I'd like for people to be able to drink 2 of these a day and still feel good. I'm raising a $500,000 round to support kind of our next wave of product development. And that will be some new flavors, which we are working on right now. We have 2 flavors in pilot mode right now with our co-packer that I hope will roll out in Q2 this year. but really focusing on sales and marketing. It is totally clear from our comps that investing in sales and marketing is where those equity dollars are going. And so getting onto Amazon we just shipped our first orders into Amazon this week. So that'll be activated in the next couple of weeks. But really investing in consumer awareness, driving trial, just being accessible to the consumer is critical. So as a heavier product, direct to consumer shipping is, it's a fairly expensive operation because FedEx and UPS are not lowering their prices and our product isn't getting any lighter. And so being able to reach people through Amazon, other e-commerce, and ultimately in store as well is really the goal. So we've had some huge successes on early sales as well. We're really interested in building on the early traction that we have. We're on Shopify, so shipping direct to consumer with a nice level of repeat orders and subscriptions. We have a really nice direct wholesale business. We're getting into some food service, but also getting Amazon activated ahead of schedule and under budget, which I'm very happy about. And our discussions with distributors and retailers are just starting to open up this year. We just hired an outside salesperson who has a ton of relationships and really knows the industry well, so is focused on getting Gist on shelf. Growth projections are to get to $10,000 of revenue per month next quarter, growing to 50. And then once we hit 80, we're really in line to close our Series A. Very interested in getting a solid CPG investor in on our Series A. I really want to get the right players on that round in order to really solidify the exit that we're looking for to one of the larger beverage companies. We, of course, have risks over the next 12 months. Beverage supply chain challenges will persist through the year, but we are really in a good position because we have all dry ingredients with the exception of our lime juice, which is frozen. So and then we have a shelf-stable product. So we are able to plan inventory well in advance, and our suppliers and co-packer are all in the Midwest region. So we're really a regional business. All of our production and sourcing is happening right in the region. Wisconsin specifically is our home base, but we're pulling some product from Iowa and Michigan as well. Of course, capital. I mean, I think we're seeing from our competitors that are raising, $13 million, $30 million rounds that have been in the business for a few years or a few years ahead of us. But it's that investment in reaching the consumer that is driving all of their success. We'd love to reduce COGS. It'll allow us to compete in Amazon and retail environments. But right now we're seeing that our pricing, we're sitting at $3.69 on the shelf at Viroqua Food Co-op. And we're seeing that right in line with comps. If we can drive those COGS down and get a little more margin out of it, we'd be pretty happy. And then transitioning into relationships with distributors is a huge step. I'm sure we'll have some unexpected challenges there, but I think we have a team that knows the industry extremely well and has some existing relationships. And we've taken this step by step so far, and it's working. So I don't foresee the distributor transition being more than a quick learning curve. And once we're in there, we'll really be able to invest and build our retail network even more strongly. So, I mean, I think we can see that early entrants into some of these new categories in beverage have had excellent exits. We're really budgeting for a 3 to 5x revenue multiple. Ideally looking at 7-ish years to get there. I think we can look to these examples. Bai is a tea-based drink. Kavita is a kombucha, one of the early, not the first, but one of the early kombuchas that exited to PepsiCo in 2016. They're sort of I would say, a bit of a guiding light in terms of the pathway that we're seeing for Gist. But that gives you a sense of where this can go, right? People aren't going to stop drinking flavorful, nutritious, healthful drinks anytime soon. So we see ourselves coming in at just the right time. We, as I said, closed a pre-seed round in 2019 and did an oversubscribed internal bridge round last year. And we're now raising a $500,000 round to build out that direct to consumer, more wholesale, Amazon. That build out, I think we're really primed to get done this year.